Survivor's ready. Go!
Go, 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 go.
Gotta get everybody up and over that net. Attack it!
On your butt, on your butt, on your butt, on your butt, on your butt. That's a preview of the upcoming new season of Survivor. 18 castaways will compete for the title of Sole Survivor and take home a $1 million prize. And as you can see, it's not going to be easy. It never is. This season, the adventurers take the castaways to the islands of Fiji, where they must learn to adapt to their surroundings. CBS News Boston's digital host, Weil, spoke with the host of the show to learn more about the upcoming season.
It's certainly going to be a season to remember, and joining us now to share more about what fans should expect this season on Survivor is the host of the show, Jeff Probst. Thanks so much for joining us, Jeff.
What's up, Joe? Thanks for having me on.
So nearly 25 years, and now the show's in the 48th season. What should viewers expect from this fresh group of castaways as they begin a new adventure in the upcoming season?
Well, every season does have a vibe. Like last season, Survivor 47, I would say was kind of like a slow burn, kind of like White Lotus, where you get to know the people. 48 is not a slow burn. 48 hits it straight out of the gate, including emotion. You know, you're going to cry, I think, in the first couple of minutes, which seems crazy given you don't even know these people. But the people we're putting on are so dynamic and so interesting that you can quickly invest in their story.
And there are going to be 18 castaways on this season, and one of them is from Winthrop, Massachusetts. His name is Justin. We'll get a chance to meet him, and he's going to be one of those 18 that make their way to Fiji to compete to be the sole survivor and win that $1 million prize. What can you tell us about Justin, and also just some of the challenges that the castaways will be facing this season?
Well, Justin, I don't want to give away Justin's story, but he's the guy that we fell in love with immediately. And we saw him last year, and he actually, during our casting process, we do a very deep dive. He found something medically that our doctors and his doctors thought he needed to take care of first. So it was very heartbreaking because he was going to be on the show last year. And we said, Justin, take care of yourself. Come back next year. He came back next year, was more dynamic, more interesting, and he's got that Boston thing. Boston's been so good to Survivor. The people in Boston are just so pure and authentic and compelling and interesting and dynamic, and Justin is now part of that Boston family.
Yeah, and we bring the personality as well. You think of Survivor, it's obviously one of the longest running reality shows on TV. And Jeff, the neat part about it is that you've been a part of this since the very beginning, and you've believed in the idea since the very beginning. And I wanted to ask you just what was it about the show made you want to be a part of it so badly, and what made you believe it would be as special as it's become?
What made me want to be a part of it was human behavior. I mean, that sounds like a boring answer, but it's everything. Watching us justify our ethics, watching us amaze ourselves, watching what we do when we fail and disappoint ourselves. I love all that. I'm the guy that watches police interrogations on a regular basis just because I love watching people who are starting to realize they're going to be caught for the crime they did, and the detective who's looking across the table saying, yes, I'm building a web for you. I love that kind of stuff, and that's what Survivor creates, is this complex game where, yes, you're living in the real jungle. That's a real snake. That's a real storm coming, and your fire's out and you're hungry. You're also playing this game of social politics that require and give you permission to lie, cajole, manipulate. How good are you at all of that? And what you find is somebody like Justin has done a lot of things in his life. He's never done this. What's he going to do with his situation?
How did your vision for how season 48 was going to play out compared to how it actually ended up playing out?
Well, I like the way you asked that question, because that's really what makes Survivor fun for me as like my host role, is that we spend all year looking for the people. We spend most of the year trying to design this game that's going to create a lot of uncertainty. But the biggest uncertainty is, what will they do with it? Because when we start and they step on the beach, they're in control. There is no fan vote. There's no producers saying, oh, we should keep this person. We have no say. So we now become the audience, and our job is just to record the stories and then tell them in a mystery form. But that's why it's dynamic, is we spend all year and then we go, now what's going to really happen?
And you've been in this new era of Survivor for the last 7 seasons, and obviously the game has evolved a lot from the old era to the new era, but how have you seen the game change just in the realm of the new era, especially the last couple seasons where it feels like the new era has fully taken on a life of its own?
Yeah, I think we've accomplished the goal we set out to. When COVID hit and we had to pause, it gave us a moment to step back, and we decided to rebuild the game. And the one thing we were going for was uncertainty. So this game is very, very difficult to predict because you don't know what's going to happen. And what's great about that is if you can accept that it's going to be uncertain and you can't predict, then it should give you permission to trust your gut, because that's all you got. And I think that's what's really different is you're seeing a much more dynamic game because people are realizing, I don't know what's coming tomorrow. I got to make sure I survive this moment to get to tomorrow. And that makes the game pop all the time.
And Jeff, just looking at you right now, I think of those magic 4 words, the tribe has spoken. And obviously that's just become such a huge part of the show, obviously, but also pop culture in general. I don't know if I've ever heard you talk about it. How did you come up with that catchphrase, which of course is now iconic?
Yeah, I didn't. Here's a very short version. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was on the air, and Regis had a catchphrase, which was, is that your final answer? And I kept saying to Mark, we got to have a catchphrase. And he kept saying, no, we don't. Snuff the torch, tell him to go. And I go, but Mark, I need to say something. And he got so frustrated with me one day, he said, okay, Jeff, here's what you tell him. Here's what you tell him. You tell him, you say, obviously, your tribe don't want you around no more. And I said, yeah, that just doesn't, and he goes, Jeff, I don't know what to say. The tribe has spoken. It's the way it goes. There it was.
There you
just
go.
Sitting. Yes, and I took it and had a chance to take credit for it in an interview. And the little devil bird right here and the angel bird right here, the angel bird went out. It was Burnett, as it always is.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Jeff. We can't wait to see the new season as well. Thank you so much for joining us to talk about it. And thanks for providing us with such great shows over the years.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me on. Thanks to Boston.